Hello and welcome to the 35th episode of the Saints podcast. I'm joined with Harry.
Hello.
I'm joined with Jamie.
The returning Jambo.
The returning Jamie. I'm also joined with Mikey.
Hello.
Right, so how are we doing, guys? Are we all right? Had a good week?
I'm sorry, I stopped everyone.
Go
I'd
on.
like to put a formal apology to all our fans of me missing the last two podcasts.
That's all right. It's all right.
I've been busy
Yep.
doing
We'd
things.
we'd like to make a formal apology for Jamie's return. I apologise. He's back.
We can't shift him. He keeps turning up, but Anyway,
I'm missing the Burton Albion clash against AFC Wimbledon /
what a
Southend because I don't know who it is for this. So
yeah.
you better be
But did
happy.
we all enjoy the Watford game? Did we enjoy
I
the
was
win?
present. I was there at the
Weren't
stadium.
there? Yeah.
I was
Okay.
there.
So we did do a.
To watch it. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it
Mm.
to a pre-match podcast.
No, so we did do a reaction podcast to it. So if you want to go to the previous one, episode number 34, you can do so. But also, you would have missed Jamie's opinion. So Jamie, do you want to have any quick opinions that you
I
wanted to fill in?
really hated the first half as Watford's whole team were defending in their half. It's nothing to do. And it, honestly, Tizard, if you were there, the whole team, no players had passed the halfway line.
Mm.
Embarrassing for them. But, yeah,
It was almost like they knew how to play against us.
it's weird, that, isn't it, Mikey? The second half was decent.
Yeah.
Daddy Ings got a lovely goal, courtesy of Musa, handball, Gineppo. And then Ward Prowse with a lovely free kick.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening, everyone. Goodbye.
Awesome. So yeah, if you want to hear our full analysis on it, yeah, like I said, go to the previous podcast. But yeah, for today's one, it's basically a summary as we always do, going into the next game. It's a little bit earlier than usual because of the busy December schedule. But yeah, we're looking ahead to Norwich, but we'll go through a little bit of conferences, a little bit of injuries and news and stuff like that, and then finally go into our thoughts on the Norwich game. So like we like to do, Jamie, have you got something to say?
So one thing about the Christmas period,
Yeah, go on.
was the return of
Yes,
the
yeah.
podcast in Ollie's house.
All be in one room, all be back in the makeshift recording studio, all back around the same room. So we'll try and make a special occasion for that one, have a bit of fun. Maybe the return of Harry's quiz, we never know.
Well, hey,
But yeah, keep a lookout for that one.
might be a Christmas special.
Yeah, so plugging over,
Definitely.
we'll go to Mikey with the press conferences. Mikey, can you fill us in with what happened on the press conferences?
Well, basically, Ralph was talking about, when he was talking about the game, he was saying that he wasn't happy with the first half. And then I think he made that quite clear, especially in his interview after the game.
Yeah.
He kept going on about how that first half wasn't good enough, we weren't sharp enough, we weren't moving the ball quick enough.
Mhm.
And that he's happy at the club because he's had a year at the club now.
Yep, yeah.
And he's happy. He knew that the challenge wasn't going to be easy, and that he's still enjoying it, even though we're 19th in the league. And you also mentioned the fact that even though we are on 12 points and 19th, 7th place has 19 points.
Yeah.
So we're only 7 points off of Europe at the moment. And how close the league is, we just get a good run in December and we can be right back up there again.
Yeah, I think that's
Basically, that
definitely
was the majority of the not the podcast, the press conference.
true. Yeah, but Harry, Jamie, what's your thoughts on how close the league is? How can we
I think
capitalise on our
It's
easy fixtures and try and get up the league?
just don't let Sofiane Boufal stub his toe on the kitchen
Yeah.
table.
Yeah,
And we'll
I
be
say
fine.
keep doing it. He played well when he did that.
it's true actually. Yeah, he did
Very
play well.
true. Yeah, it's just I enjoyed watching him play. I like to watch him play even more.
What was the differences when you watched the game? What was the
It's
key
more
differences
pace.
you saw?
There's more like actually ambition. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, Nathan Redmond's a very good player for us. It just
Mhm.
he wasn't on the ball on that day.
Yeah,
And having that Boufal, that extra bit of chop hitting
Yeah.
his skills. I don't laugh at me.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
The
English.
official
It's very good.
yeah. But also with like the whole game, normally we are used to seeing us score early and then try and cling on to that lead. How do you think the early goal from Watford actually forced us to play? Do you think it changed the game in that way for us to be able to go on the front foot? How do you think that game kind of made that impact?
I think Watford are quite a similar team to what we are, in the fact that they are lacking confidence and not getting wins at the moment.
No.
So them scoring first, like they then drop back and try to protect it for the 70 odd minutes that they were in the lead for.
Yeah.
And we know from experience that that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it was just about we were given so many chances that one of them were going to go in,
yeah.
and that is what really happened. They had the last hit defending that we usually have, and then at some point the ball was just going to get bundled in.
Yeah.
So I'd actually say, even though it made the game a lot more stressful, it may have been an advantage for Watford to score first, because that made them drop back and put us on the front foot.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, we said Buffal injected a bit of pace into the game, but
Chop.
yeah, a bit of chop to use the correct phrase. But am I right in saying that he's a doubt for the game coming ahead to the Norwich game?
He won't start.
He won't start.
Yeah, won't start.
Right,
Okay, so coming off the bench. Yeah,
He's had the day off training. He's had Tuesday off training.
Yeah.
And also Stuart Armstrong's still out with his hamstring injury.
Yeah,
I think those are the two only doubts.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but I think someone mentioned it last time in the reaction, saying that Buffal seems very effective coming off the bench. I can't remember who it was, but saying the fact that he coming off the bench means he doesn't have so much of a kind of reliability on him to defend. He can kind of come on because they know they want attacking outputs from him, and they know that they want him to try and create something. Obviously, he's very tricky, so he's hard for defenders. Do you think he should be? Do you think he can be successful in a starting role, or do you think he's more successful coming off the bench?
His endurance isn't good enough to start every match, in my opinion. That's why he's quite good off the bench.
Yeah, Harry, Mikey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he adds that direct running style, and I think that's more effective off the bench. Like I've said to Jamie, I don't think he'd be effective for a full 90, but against a tiring defence, I think I prefer him off the bench, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, I just realised I may have been slightly nudged. Do we have any questions today, Tiz? Just because we
do in fact have questions.
A bit of context for everyone, because if you're watching the YouTube video, you'll see my facial expressions when Ollie said, "I'm over to Mikey about the interviews."
Okay, yeah, my bad. Well, I just wanted to, because Mikey's been really good with the press conferences and giving us the information recently. So I got a bit overexcited for him to go on with the press conferences. But yeah, we do as always have.
I had to put a message in our group chat to remind me to do questions.
But as always, we do have questions, so Harry's going to pull them up now. I'll let you know how you can get in touch. On at Saints Prime on Instagram is the main way that we get the questions in. Harry, have you got them up now?
Danhurst 96 as well. Have you heard anything about potential buyers of Gal shares?
If there's anyone, I'd happily take him.
Yeah.
Even if it was my cash at this point.
Really? No, not that desperate.
Joke. Human.
Well, there's always the rumours that circle that Red Bull are interested to get a team in England, but
should you not take that out of curiosity?
100%.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think rebranding would let him in the Premier League, which I agree with. But I'd definitely take him as an owner than just have a Red Bull logo slapped on our shirt.
Yeah. Well, the way I'd see it is I wouldn't want the money to go straight into... Obviously, like you could buy more players with it because they like immediate success. But if we could guarantee improvements to our infrastructure, and then if they do leave or anything like that, they could set us up on a good, so we've got a really good training facilities and we've got fairly good youth facilities. But with things like, if they could try and, I don't know, if they'd be interested in renovating the stadium or something like that and making us separate to a lot of teams that are out there at the moment, giving us a USP for fans to actually come across and watch the game, it could be really beneficial for us, because I wouldn't want us to just be injected with a load of players and money.
Sorry to interrupt, but have Red Bull actually been linked with buying Southampton? It's just
it's just a rumour on Twitter. Like I don't think it's anything concrete.
It came up as quick as it left.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it could have happened with any Premier League club, really. But yeah. Thank you very much, Dan, for your lovely question.
No, wait, come on, Mikey.
I feel the criticism of Gal is a little bit harsh on him.
100%.
Yeah.
Because it's not his fault that he bought a club it's his fault that he bought the club in the situation that it is in, but it's not his fault that the club are in a situation that it's in.
Yeah.
Like it's been over years and years of it's just been years and years of like poor management, and he's
Surely
only come
he
in
would
for
have done
last.
surely he would have done the research of that though.
I think the club needs a whole rebuilding. I think it just needs rebuild. And you think you've had Les Reed go, Ralph Kruger's gone, our head of scouting's gone, our head of youth development or wherever, he's gone as well.
Yeah.
Assistant manager's gone. I think a lot of the youth staff have gone as well. So it's just the whole club needs a rebuilding, a restructuring, and that's what I think Gal's trying to do. And it's not like he's not spending money as well. We're still investing. He's still investing in the club. It may not be the millions that Wolves have had invested from their Chinese owner, but he's invested in the youth. He's still investing in players as well. So
that's true. But are you seeing that steady increase in the actual squad's strength, or is it because we're selling to buy? Are we stagnating and not really improving our overall squad? What's your thoughts?
I don't think we're selling. We're not really selling to buy at the moment. But every club has to sell to buy because that's how you run a business. It's not like you can just keep bringing things in and not let anything out. I think it's a good thing because it also means that we won't go bust as a club. It's not like Gal's going to invest £200 million. It's not going to work out. And then he's going to drop us into administration. We're going to get loads of finances and we're going to turn out like Bolton. I'd much prefer us to do the in-out process than actually spend massively and then end up in 10 years in League One fighting in courts trying to keep our stadium.
Well, we could win in League One. So that's a positive.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the criticisms that he's getting is people, and it may come down to more recruitment than it is actually his finances, because in previous times we have sold a lot of our best players and recruited well. So maybe in that sense, it may be that he's finding an issue there. So we could see a difference there with who's the new gentleman that's just joined. What's his name?
Matt
Crocker. Is that the guy from England?
Yeah, but he has worked for the club previously, I believe, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was our academy director
and now he's in the position of which? What is it now?
Director of football, I believe.
Director of football. Okay.
I think, anyway.
He's replaced Les Reed.
Yeah.
Good. I never liked Les Reed. That man. That man's known about football. Get lost.
Well, he did a lot of good things for us, but then he kind of lost the kind of way near the end, and
he stayed too long beyond his sell-by date for us. Anyway,
did you make that sound a bit better, Tizard?
I think that was alright. No, I think I don't know. I wouldn't listen to Jay.
To be fair, I if anyone was wondering, I started laughing because he hit himself in the face with his headphones. For the audio listeners that are very confused,
with
the laughing that started.
But me and Mikey were kind of saying about the recruitment and Gal trying to keep us. What's the word that keeps on being brought up with the finances? Not stable,
but
sustainable. But it seems like we've got to have our quality players go out in order to create the finances. We've tried to put players out that aren't performing very well. But it almost seems like it's slowly reducing unless the transfers coming in are effective, it does mean our quality is slowly going to reduce. And I think that's what the fans are concerned about, that although we're making good investments, we've now got to try and see some immediate effect rather than giving time to players like Che Adams, who need the time to get ready for the league. But it seems like we haven't spent big because we can't get immediate, so we have to rely on players that are going to improve, but also means giving them time. And do we have that time? I think that's the issue that players are coming across. Fans are coming across.
I do also think it's not just Gal's fault, because he would have talked to the manager, he would have talked to the director of football, like the technical director, everyone like that, and would have talked about what players to sell. And like you think Mark Hughes, he didn't use Gabbiadini a lot. He wasn't a massive fan of Gabbiadini. That's the reason why he left. Right, no, Hasenhüttl didn't use Gabbiadini, did he? And he left under Hasenhüttl. Van Dijk was throwing up a fuss, and there was a reason why he went, because he was throwing up a fuss. He didn't want to be here anymore. Tadic, I think he didn't want to be here anymore as well. So a lot of these players, they're either players that we weren't going to use, they weren't going to be a first team player, or they were making a fuss and they didn't want to be here anymore.
But the reason they did go is because there was a demand for them, wasn't there?
Yeah,
Someone like Carrillo was clearly transfer listed, and we wanted a transfer for him because he doesn't fit the bill. People like Austin coming out in the press saying he can't hit a barn door. So we're trying to get him out, but just because the demand's not there for him, we weren't able to get him out, and he's had to go on loan. They're probably not covering the whole of his wages. So, it's a bit of an issue there in the fact that we've made a poor recruitment of a player, and we're now, stuck with that, and we've got to try and...
That's not Gal's fault. That isn't Gal's fault. It's Pellegrino's fault. It's the whole
recruitment.
Like,
I said I wasn't blaming that on Gal.
Yeah,
but
it's not. Yeah.
Anyway,
I think the one criticism I would have is just that he's got to realise that we are going on about this for a while, but but I think we can all agree that when he joined bought the majority of the stake for the club, he had to realise this was going to be a major rehaul, and with major rehaul does come finances. He would have to realise that, but there's also a lot of money in the Premier League, so we are seeing encouraging signs, and hopefully it should turn around for us. I think that's okay, isn't it? We can leave it.
I think you just have to be patient. We have to rebuild the club, and once the rebuild's done, if then the investment doesn't come, or like the better times don't come back, then that's when you can play.
Okay, so you're saying there, do you believe there will be a slight more increase in investment once the rebuilding's done, or do you think will be...
Once Gal's brought in the people that he wants to bring in to run the club, then there will be investment. It's just that this summer we had a lot of outs in the director of football and like everyone who was at the top of the club. Once everyone's there, I'm sure there'll be more investment into the club.
Yeah. And how quickly do you reckon that rehaul will be done? Do you reckon we'll be able to start signing players in January, or do you reckon we'll still be conservative with the quality we have and bringing in players?
I don't know.
I heard a article saying how Ralph will move back in January, so I doubt we're putting those risky bids in unless we have another player leave, and there's a person. I don't really see that happening.
Yeah.
But I've also seen an article saying that Hasanus was going to be allowed to buy three players.
Yes, I saw that in the next few days, and after I saw.
You can't tell until it happens. Well, at the end of January, we'll know if he's been backed or not.
Really?
Would you still be concerned if in January we haven't seen improvements in the squad, or do you think, or do you reckon you still give him time by January? Is January kind of turning point for you, or are you?
I'm not necessarily concerned. No. It's just obviously I think we're out of Ralph's position to make those transfers.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay. Off the transfers, let's get.
Any other questions, Tizard?
Yeah.
Dan Hurst 96 V2.
Hey.
I would rather try Elundali than Obafemi. I really think we are wasting our time with him.
I'm kind of losing patience with Obafemi a little bit. I still think he's a good asset for the club, but it seems like he's just not the build for a footballer. It seems like after every game he has a muscle strain because of the requirements they're asking for him. And I don't know whether he can fulfill them. You can see he works hard. He has got a bit of a physicality behind him, but it's the issue of whether he will be able to fully sustain that, or whether just his build and his physique cannot support that kind of football. What's your guys' thoughts?
He could be quite a young retirement sort of player. He's just ruins his legs from playing football too much. He looks at these small injuries build up over time.
Harry, your thoughts on Obafemi?
No, I'm exactly the same as your boat. I don't think he has sadly, because of his build, I just can't. He's not that much of a presence in the Premier League. If he's up front by himself, which he hasn't been, but if he was ever tasked with that, I think he'd really struggle. And he's struggling in the two with Danny Ings as well. He is quick in behind, and maybe against a team like Norwich where they've only got 2 or 3 fit centre backs. Maybe that's the time where you just put him in. But I don't. Even then, I'd prefer to see Shane Long. Yeah, I know, Mikey. Big smile on his face. Shane Long and Danny Ings, because I just think that those two have more of a presence up front than Michael Obafemi and Danny Ings.
I think Shane Long. I think Che Adams is still working on confidence and getting up to speed in the Premier League. Be interesting to see if he plays. Is he playing any under 23s at the moment, or is he kind of?
No, I
No.
don't think so.
Okay. Well, I think Shane Long can be used as almost like a panic button sometimes, in the fact that if you are being pressed, the ball can go up to him and he can win a flick on. And Danny Ings has got a fair amount of pace on him, so if the ball does go behind, we can then, wingers are up, strikers running forwards. It provides a little bit more of an outlet if you are under pressure. So I'd quite like to see Shane Long to play in that role if he is going up front. Shane Long, what are your guys' thoughts of him coming into the team?
Mikey first, or do you
I would be very happy if Shane Long starting. That'd be brilliant. It'd be fantastic for me mainly. But I would really like to see Dan DeLu get given a chance this year, because I think he can be a presence. He will be a presence in the front two, especially getting flick-ons to Ings, and I think he's 6'2" as well, so he will have an advantage in the air. He's strong, he is quick, decent touch on the ball. I'd like to see him get given a chance this year. Yeah.
My only problem with that is he's not smashing up the under-23 league. Like, if you want to be playing in the Premier League, you've got to be showing in the under-23s. Right, this is how good I am. I'm scoring against every single team. I deserve my chance. Whereas for the under-23s, he's not scoring every week.
Mikey, would you be able to see what his stats are in the under-23s?
I was ready to be on it.
Oh, go on then, Jamie. Let us know then. But yeah, while Jamie is
taking my job.
Yeah.
So he's not getting in the squad either.
And he doesn't even have a supercomputer like Mikey.
Yeah, I've only got one purpose, and it's been taken.
But yeah, Dylan DeLu. So we're talking about players in the squad. How would the lineup differ, or how would it stay the same going into the Norwich game? Obviously, fitness is going to be a factor, but also performance and merit is as well. How would you kind of line up the team?
Keep it the same, but take out Obafemi and put in Shane Long, because Buffon won't be able to start because of his injury. But apart from that, keep it the same for me.
Yeah, I'd be quite happy to do that. Mikey?
Or maybe put in Valerie. Sorry, right back. Might put in Valerie.
I would start the same way that it ended, but put Redmond back in for Buffon.
Oh yeah, of course, because Shane Long came on 57th minute, which did kind of turn around the game. So yeah,
exactly.
Redmond obviously came off as well, but if we, keep Redmond on, Shane Long up front, and then you said Valerie at right back.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
He's a bit more of an. I just think he's a bit more well-rounded fullback than Cedric is.
Yeah.
He's always just a little bit worrying on the defensive side. He's just a little bit. You know that he'll be beaten to a header.
Yeah.
And that's always scary when you see a cross into the box, especially with a player like Pookie in the middle. Like, if Pookie and Cedric are jumping against each other, Pookie's winning it every single day of the week. So
yeah. So Jamie, were you able to get up the stats?
It won't, for some reason. It won't let me check his stats.
Right, okay. But obviously Norwich coming off the back of a 2-2 draw against Arsenal, so like us getting a 2-0 draw up there. I can have a look at their lineup quickly, see how they did line up. Pookie and Cantwell getting the goals like they did early in the season, so hopefully their form won't carry on to our game. Apart from that, there's not too many players in there that I'm particularly.
So those two are our version of Danny Ings and James Ward-Prowse. Those are the two that seem to be the only two scoring consistently for them. So if we keep them quiet, I would like to see Valerie play, just because he's a much more attacking fullback, and I think we could risk more against Norwich. Yeah. As in on the front foot.
And correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't Cantwell play on the left-hand side?
Can play up front. So. He's been playing up front for quite a few of their games this year.
Really? Okay.
Him and Pookie have been playing up front together. So that's how they played against Everton, and I think that's also how they played against Arsenal as well. So yeah, he's a good little player. He is. And,
Cantwell, I remember watching him.
Goodbye for your fantasy team.
Yeah. We can have a little look at fantasy teams actually, but we'll get onto that later. I remember seeing Cantwell. What was the first game of the season? Norwich played against Liverpool, wasn't it? I remember Cantwell and obviously Pookie looking very threatening. It'd be interesting to see what their form is like away. Jamie, sorry, you had got.
Can I just say the question was, do you like Obafemi?
Do you like offending? We've kind of segued,
Doesn't
haven't we?
matter, just keep
I
going,
like
so.
him, but I don't think he has a long-term future as much as I'd love to say he does.
Yeah. There wasn't
You
any
like
other
him, but
questions,
only
was
as
there?
a
To this?
friend.
There was 3 more.
There was 3 more. Oh my god, I went straight into. I was just looking at the time. I thought we had to go. Right, go on then. We'll do these quick fire then, boys.
Dan Hussett
I didn't even
V3.
get
Get
to
to
hear
you.
all
That's
of
it.
it.
The
Do
hearse.
the players have more? Do the players have more faith that Buffon will beat his man over Redders so they make the run?
100%.
Possibly, yeah. I think. Yeah.
I like how assertive Jamie is. 100%. Yeah, move on. We'll do
Yeah.
next.
Well, Harry,
Fine.
Mikey. Yeah. What do you think? How do you think an attacker's confidence to make that run is when they see a tricky winger like Buffon beating their man?
I don't know, because Buffon in the past has been a man who has cut back and tried to beat the man again once he's already beaten him. So that make me less likely want to make the run. I don't know if he's been doing it in training, and that's the reason why. I think it's just confidence, isn't it? Like Buffon's coming off the bench full of confidence. Like he ruined Kiko Firmino's career on
disgraceful.
Saturday night.
Just
But
a bit too mean, really. Just a bit horrible.
Like if. Yeah, I don't know, because Redmond doesn't run with the ball at people anymore. Like he goes through spouts where he does that all the time.
Well, sorry to cut you off. He's very direct in his play that he will run into space, but if there's a defender and space behind him, he won't. He's not very effective in getting past the man to get into that space behind. He seems like he's very good at attacking space once it's in front of him, and his close control and pace is good for that. But once a player's in front of him and he has to beat him, I think that's where he kind of gets singled out sometimes.
Is Buffon left-footed? Just wondering.
I think so.
I think it could be
because I think that makes a difference as well. Because if he's playing on the left, then there's a greater chance of him actually putting a cross in.
That's true.
While Redmond likes cutting inside and having a shot. Yeah. So I think that's why him and Bertrand work well together, and that's why it looks a bit clunky when Buffon and Bertrand are playing together. But
both of all Buffon's wonder goals have come off his right foot. That's my only thinking. So he might be.
He might just have a stronger left foot than Redmond, but I think there's a greater chance of a cross being put into the box with a left foot than a right foot for Buffon and Redmond.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
I don't have stats for that.
Just saying, a few times this season we have seen Buffon beat his man and then smack a ball across with his left foot. Whereas with Redmond, it's not. I can't think straight away, right? I can remember him doing it. Whereas with Buffon, I can remember it against Watford. I can remember it against Brighton. And I can remember it a few other times where he's beaten that man and put it across. And he has become more of a team player, like I've said quite a lot. And personally, I feel more confident in Buffon because I think he flows with confidence more naturally than Redmond as well.
Transfer market lists his foot as right-footed, but maybe he is kind of more confident on his left foot because I haven't really seen too much play from.
On FM?
Well, of course, the key to all knowledge is Football Manager. But yeah, it'll be. I do think we do see that sometimes. Buffon getting down the line and putting that ball across. I think he is a little bit more confident on his weak foot than Redmond. I think Redmond has a good shot coming on inside, but to a certain extent, with the amount of knowledge that data analysis and how things like that, they'll be saying, show him wide. And once they catch on to that, he does sometimes become ineffective. So for me, with Redmond, I can feel like I can predict what he's going to do, whereas I don't think Buffon knows half the time what Buffon's going to do. Like with Redmond, there's a good chance. Most of the time, we'll cut inside and try and shoot. Very rarely he'll go on the outside, whereas Buffon, I genuinely have no idea what he's going to do. No.
Apart from ruin careers.
Exactly. So we do we have any other questions, Tiz?
Dan Hurst at V4.
Come on.
Then we got one more after that. I'm not Stevens' biggest fan, but the man has changed the defence without a doubt.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously, are we going to pair him with Bednarak? Is that our kind of prediction against Norwich?
I think I know the reason why. He's got the confidence now. But before he was lacking that with the fans would grill him on social media after games. But now they're actually complimenting and you can see the positives in his play.
Well, I think sometimes our players go in circles in the fact that they can lose confidence, but if they have the determination to get back into the side and show it within training, where there's that less pressure, all it takes is one game, one good performance. What was the turning point where he played and he had a good game?
Man City is when he started and scored and
Boshed it in.
Showing that determination to Ralph that he does want to play, he can make an impact on the game, and he's got a first team place in that. That's how easy it is. You just got to show that you're willing. Don't give up on it. Don't let your head drop. Just keep working, and you will get in the team. And hopefully, that's a symbol to the other players that are low on confidence. If Stevens is able to do it, then it's more than a chance for you to do it as well. Just keep going. You'll have your time, prove it, take advantage, and you'll get back in the team. That's what we need. We need confidence at the moment, and it's nice to see a player regaining that and providing for the team.
I think he's also grown up quite a bit. I think he's a lot less egotistical than what he was. Like at the start, because I remember he literally had started probably about 4 or 5 games we were playing against Man City, and he turned around to Sane and said, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
So I think he's a little bit. I think he's grown up a little bit more. I think he's become more of a leader in the team as well, because he seems to be the one trying to speed the play up in the defence, leading the defensive line, and that's what we've been missing. So that's the positive of Stevens. Even though sometimes he does make the odd mistake, like the goal against Watford, he does provide some sort of leadership out there.
Yeah.
Jack Stevens captain ?
Ooh.
Not quite yet.
I think that's nice.
That he's been showing as well. That video, did you see it where he was
Not
screaming at the camera, but screaming near the camera, then gave Ralph a massive handshake / high five. So, I think the fans have also, accepted him a bit more, because they can see from when he got dropped, it wasn't his fault. It was just our defence in total. It wasn't his fault we were conceding. It was just our lack of defensive ability towards the back end of last season and the start of this one. So I think they've come very much more accepting. Yeah.
Okay, is there any other questions or any other thoughts?
One more. James Cohen, Gineppo VAR after game reveal. Did we cover this last week? Did it come out by that point?
Possibly, I think we did mention it quickly.
Yeah. So if you want to know, head to that podcast. You can hear what
it never touched his hand. It's fine.
Any more Tizzard? Any more questions?
No, that's all fine.
Okay, right. Should we get back? Where were we then? Sorry, I just realised that I went.
We were
on
halfway between talking about Obafemi, Gao, and what else was there?
Okay, so we went Gao for Shane Long. We said we want to follow a similar team to what we saw against Watford. Is there any other kind of thoughts with the team sheet, the style, the formation, anything like that you want to see, looking forward to?
It has to. We have to start as quick as we finish the game.
On the front.
There was no tempo whatsoever in the first half. It was slow and it was boring and it was rubbish. So you've got to speed the tempo up a little bit more. Play with aggression, play with passion, and don't knee it back to the guy running through on goal. That's best. Yeah.
I'm just having a look at a couple of stats. It's brilliant to see how amazingly specific some of them are. You know the ones I'm talking about, the ones where... So I'm reading one here. Away from home, Norwich are winless in their last 14 evening Premier League matches since beating local rivals Ipswich.
We've got him, boss!
September 1994. I mean, it's just amazing how someone's had to research that. But
our rivals, Bournemouth, are losing 1-0 to Palace right now.
Yeah, Jeffrey Schlapp with the goal.
Who are 10 men down, aren't they?
Yeah, they
10
are.
men down?
Yeah.
Wow.
Van Aanholt.
Currently, it's just Jeffrey Schlapp.
He's just stood on there on his own.
They're down.
Van Aanholt got injured, so he got subbed on. And he's
Mate, they didn't abandon it. He's just like, I can take a voice. It's fine. But yeah, so it's 1-0 down. I think City are 1-0.
Yeah, Jesus with a curling effort.
Yeah, there we go.
Well. There's currently half time in that.
And we're on TV as well, so sometimes we're always a little bit dodgy on TV. How are you guys going to be watching the game?
Is it TV or is it?
Well,
is it
Amazon Prime, I guess.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Well, that's TV for me.
When is it again? Sorry.
Hey.
7:30
I was going to say,
at
yeah.
St Mary's.
It's Thursday, isn't it?
It's 7:30. Yeah. No,
That's tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Right. Oh wow.
Tomorrow.
I
That's
will
right.
watch that. Yeah.
Okay.
I will.
Mikey, you going to the game?
I've got it off work, so I can go.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Right.
So we'll have 3 of us watching it, one of us seeing it live, so we can get the in-depth report from Mikey inside the stadium, and then we'll have us 3 as well watching it, giving our thoughts, and we'll do a reaction to that as well. Not quite sure when we will do that, but we will do a reaction to it. Any other kind of things towards the Norwich game, their performances, or things that you think the game will run out? Do you think we'll start well? Do you think we'll take a while to warm into it?
Sorry, McCarthy had a banging effort and ran.
Well, we could concentrate on this, boys. That's an option.
It's just don't underestimate Norwich, because they're basically us. They only just come up, sort of thing. Like they've got a 2-2 draw against Arsenal. They're able to beat an Everton side that we weren't able to beat. We just need to be very wary, because although Pukki's only scored 1 in his last 8 or so, they're still going to be a dangerous side, and we've just got to make sure we put our chances away and don't fall asleep. It's just basically what I say before absolutely any game that we play.
How do you think the latest win will affect the stadium? Because I haven't seen it personally, Mikey. Can you give a summary of
the stadium was overjoyed at a victory at home. It was very nice to experience. And to be fair, the fans, they weren't too happy at half time, but as soon as we started playing, the atmosphere just started building. And once the first goal went in, it went up. And then the second goal, everyone went mental. So it was a bit like, the Tottenham game from last year when we came from 1-0 down. Win 2-1. It was a little bit like that in that way, where as soon as we got that first goal, it rocketed, and you knew that we were going to win it. It didn't really matter. You just knew that we were.
Well, I always say it that it bounces off each other. You need the players to start well for the fans to pick up, and it only takes so much as a corner for the fans to immediately get behind them. But you need, you need a little bit of something just to get you going, because the atmosphere will be good, because obviously people want to see them do well. You'll get a good start. And as long as the players show the same passion that the fans do, they'll bounce off each other, and you'll create that amazing atmosphere that we do have the potential to do. Any other kind of thoughts towards the Norwich game? Do you want to go into predictions? I'll write them down like we did last week, and you can kind of see how accurate they are.
2-0 Southampton.
Oh, wait, what did you say, Jamie?
2-0 Southampton.
Yeah, 2-0 to Saints. Okay, getting a clean sheet as well at home, so that's obviously going to be a positive if it does come off. Harry, what do you reckon?
I was going to say 3-1, but my Aka says 3-0. Oh, sorry, my in-bet builder says 3-0. So I'm going to go for a 3-0.
Wow, okay. Mikey, what do you reckon?
3-0.
2-1.
2-1. Yeah, that's what
I'm Still can't see us keeping a clean sheet, but,
Yeah. I'm going to go 2-1 as well, just because I think a clean sheet at home is something that sometimes comes a little bit difficult to us, so I think we might get there might be a late one where we just kind of switch off, but I'm hoping it won't be like the Watford game where we have to attack them back. I'm hoping we can look comfortable most of the game, and it's a consolation rather than a threat. I think that could be something we could possibly see. Like I say, I'm always a little bit tinged towards what my heart says, not my head. So let's keep it positive. I'm going to say 2-1 as well. So
I'll put McCarthy in my fantasy team, because I'm confident of our abilities.
I brought in Danny Ings. Do you guys want to go quickly through your fantasy teams? Is there anything that kind of
I just realised.
My bench had like 21 points.
Really?
So
Who'd you have?
I had Kelly, Cantwell, and Mings on my bench. Ooh. So I wasn't happy, because all of them did really well.
So Cantwell got subbed on for me. I got Pereira 7, Tomori, Robson, Lundstrom all 2 points. De Bruyne got me 10. Wrongly captain Mane for only 4 points. Same. Sterling got me 7. So Mane, the only person in my midfield who got 2 points, was my captain. And then I had Vardy up front, and Greenwood got subbed in because Abraham was injured. I made a couple of changes. I got rid of Sterling just because I think Man City are on such uncertain times at this moment. Got in Son, who looks on fire for Tottenham, so I got him in, and I got Danny Ings up front because I think he's on red hot form. I want him to do well. so I got him in. I think it's his best chance as any to try and keep his goal scoring returns going. So yeah, see that. You guys, any little fantasy things that of interest?
I wanted to change a lot of players before the last one, so I took out 4 players and I put in Daniel James, Vardy, Ings, and Musette with all 3 of my strikers scoring. So I took minus 12. I took a minus 12 points hit.
Yeah.
What?
But it did But I did get. I can't remember how many because it's just updated. So I got like 49 or 47 points. So I was just under the average, but better than usual. And at the moment, my live point score is 6 because Crystal Palace are keeping a clean sheet against Bournemouth.
Very nice. So yeah, Mikey, any other little things to report?
I got 50 points. Pereira doing well again. De Bruyne getting 10. Vardy captain. Thankfully, Abraham and King were both out. So I had Mount and Cantwell come on, and that was an extra 10 points as well.
Very nice. So, Jamie, any highlights?
Last week I got 50 points, so 1 point below average.
Nice.
However, I've officially transferred in Danny Ings for next week because I've got
officially
now.
Right, okay. You could allow it.
So my team, as it stands, is Newcastle, Ozil, Mane. Newcastle. That's not
Newcastle.
I literally playing.
That's cheating.
Danny Ings, Ozil, Mane, Pulisic, Gonzalo, Sterling, Wan-Bissaka, Lundstrom, Van Dijk, Alexander Arnold, and Edison.
Okay.
You're only allowed 3 players from each team, so having the entire squad of Newcastle in there is not.
It might be a bit of disadvantage. We'll bring it back onto Saints Prime. How are you guys doing in the league? What position are you?
Like 130. You just do this to flex on us, to be honest with you. It's not.
I'm 100.
I'm bringing it back to fantasy.
You don't care about what we.
Okay.
You don't care about our position.
I want to see where you are.
Look at me.
Ollie's gone down.
Yeah, I have gone down. See why I don't be flexing that I went down?
Yeah,
I'm all the way down in 5th. Yeah, I'm in Europa League. So, guys, where are you?
I've refreshed it.
Like 112th.
Right, so Harry's 112.
I'm beating you. I'm 109th.
Mate, Jamie's got a comeback.
I'm 72nd.
72nd, so Mikey's second out of us. And then shout out to Robin Timms if he is listening. He's on 839 points so far. I'm not going to read out his team name, but yeah, well done to him.
I'm now intrigued. Now you say
it's nothing rude. I just
it's not that
bad. Okay, yeah, fine.
I'm intrigued now.
Okay, so is there anything to talk about, or should we just kind of wrap it up there?
Dusan Tadic finished 20th, equal 20th in the Ballon d'Or.
Mm-hmm.
Van
Dijk was second.
Van Dijk came second. Mane came 4th.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah.
He beat Ronaldo.
So,
No.
Ronaldo came third. He should have beaten Ronaldo, but Ronaldo got into
do you want a random facts?
Go on then.
Sri Lanka voted Trent Alexander-Arnold the best player this year. The Sri Lankan journalist, I believe it's the Sri Lankan journalist, voted Trent Alexander-Arnold as their Ballon d'Or winner for this season.
Wow. Okay. But obviously Messi coming out on tops. What do you reckon it'd be like for Southampton to have a player who's gone and won the Ballon d'Or if Van Dijk went and won it? Do you reckon that would be a benefit to us or just a bit of trivia?
So many players trying to play for us.
Yeah. I was just thinking it could be a possible, it could be a nice little thing to say about the club.
Thank you, Southampton.
Didn't happen. Yeah. Okay, so anything else to report, or are you kind of happy to...
Actually, Van Dijk and Tadic did have a photo with each other.
Oh, they did, in their tuxedos.
I saw that on the Twitter.
Where did you see that?
I'm not sure.
Show it to you later.
It's I don't really care about how they left the club or what opinions.
Did Mane not get the photo?
I think three players in the top 20 in the world that have come from Southampton is like incredible.
It does, yeah.
And that just shows what a good job that I know he hasn't had a great time and he has got 5, but what a great job Les Reed actually did as the director of football, bringing in those 3 players, and now they're 3 of the best players in the world. And how much of a shame it is that they all couldn't stick around at Southampton, because we would have one hell of a team if they did.
Yeah. Well, it kind of when they have that ability in them, it's almost difficult because they must think that they can do so much higher. So they kind of have that pursuit for greatness, and they've obviously showed how great they really can be. So it was
And
brilliant.
I don't care what people say. Like, Liverpool have not done anything to Van Dijk or Mane. They were playing that way when they were playing for Southampton. They haven't developed further. They were as good as they are now.
Mane definitely has developed. Mane's definitely took a slight step up.
Mane was still
you can't say that Mane's the same level.
I can say it because it's my opinion.
Well,
You can say
opinion,
it. You can say it, but it's wrong.
No, well, opinions aren't wrong, but in that case, maybe.
See,
well, I think he has developed in the fact that he has so much more composure in big games. Things like performing in the Champions League, to joining our club and taking 6 months to get used to it, to now being able to lead a line in a Champions League winning team. I think it takes a lot of, even if it's not directly shown physically on the pitch, I think mentally he has grown as a player to be able to take on that sort of pressure and perform in those big games. Because we saw he had the finish and the technique, but to pull that out in the big games, I think does take learning. I think he hadn't been used to that before, and he's now able to do it. I think that's the changes that we're seeing. But yeah, just that's my 2 cents. Everyone's got an opinion. Anything else? We've talked about Ballon d'Or, any other kind of things like that, or is that all to report for? Obviously, we'll do our reaction, but yeah, anything before Wednesday, or are you happy there?
Hopefully, we get 3 points.
Exactly.
Hey!
So, thank you very much for listening. As I previously mentioned earlier, you can get the questions in. I'll promise to do them earlier this time, Tiz. I won't forget them. But yeah, we had a decent amount of questions this week, so make sure you do send them in. Harry, how can they get them in?
Saints Prime on the Instagram. I'll do it for our Friday podcast. We don't do it for the review ones, but we'll do it for the Friday podcast. Saints Prime. I'll put it up on the Wednesday, so straight after the Norwich game. So if you want to send questions in about that, we might answer a few depending on what they if they're relevant to that game.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll try and answer as many questions as we can. If we have previously mentioned, we try and stay away. But any other kind of new topics or things like that, we're more than happy to answer them, and we'll let you know. And we'll say thank you for sending them, because obviously they do help us with the podcast. Also, stay in touch on Saints Prime Pod. Notifications straight away when the podcast goes out, including links. On the Twitter. So you'll get links as soon as it comes out, straight to your favourite podcasting app, and you will get go straight to the podcast and hear it as soon as it comes out. So if you're looking out for it, then notifications on the Saints Prime Twitter, and it'll take you straight to it. But it's also been me, and joined with
Harry.
I'm also here with
Lint roller Jamie.
Jamie. Look at the video if you want to see a strange man rolling himself with a lint roller. And I've also been joined with Mikey. And Mikey. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again next time. Bye bye.